Hello folks, I've got another game for you, shoutcasted, and it is going to be on a moon. So here we go. We have Clopse and Mushroomars spawning very close together on this moon, and it does appear as though Nanolathe is going to continue playing. So this is going to be a three-way free-for-all, more like a 1 versus 1 and someone riding along the waves behind. So Clopse and Mushroomars here spawn incredibly close together this time. Clopse has got quite an advantage with a fair amount of metal in their near vicinity right here. Mushroomars, looking at their spawn, they have a little bit of a walk to get to the larger metal sites, but other than that we could see Mushroomars' base cover this whole region of craters here. Excuse me. So because of all the metal surrounding it, we'll probably see the base expansion covering that whole area. Looking at Nanolathe's base now, going for your typical opening, followed by a vehicle factory. He's got a reasonable amount of metal in his start spot, so that'll have him set and sorted through an expansion for this whole region here. And looking at it, he has a huge amount of metal actually, so if he can really utilize that, he can really push that back. Now, while not a huge amount is happening, I'm just going to apologise for not having any uploads for the past few days. I've been a little under the weather and I've had various other things going on, and I simply have not had the time. I apologise for that. But who cares about my uploading when there's a skitter running along? Look at this. He's going scouting already from Mushroomars. Getting out that early skitter and that early intel is going to be crucial in terms of finding out where the other players' spawns are, as always, because it allows you to cater for what you're going to build in your military, whether you want to get it up sooner rather than later, or whether you want to go for your econ earlier on. Looking around now, he doesn't see Clopse's spawn unfortunately, but Clopse going for a lot of fabricators early on, along with some energy with their commander, probably just going to tank up on that energy with the commander. Turtle up. And looking back at Nanolathe now, we're getting out some skitters there as well. We've got the fabricators going to all corners of the metal sites in the near vicinity, getting as much of that early metal as possible. Although it looks as though it might be putting a strain on the economy with the commander building that energy, the fabricators building metal. I mean, metal doesn't go up very fast when you just have one fabricator. Personally, I might have 2 fabricators building up mechs in the early game. You get it up faster, and rather than splitting them up and covering more metal, I'd rather get the metal earlier on and guaranteed so that I can actually get building everything else. Nanolathe also getting a skitter out, but Mushroomars has found the base, and he is going to try and destroy this fabricator to stop it from building metal, or he's going to move through. He's going to see the commander there, he's going to get taken out. So, Mushroomars now knows where Nanolathe is. Excuse me, apologies for that. The zooming is still a little bit dubious in this, but now Clopse has some skitters as well. Mushroomars sending out other ones. Clopse really expanding around now. He's got a couple of skitters out. He's starting his ants. He's also got a spinner there for any early bomber raids, which has really started to get popular recently in some of the games I have seen. A lot of players using T1 bombers to snipe out some of the fabricators who are trying to expand, really hammering anyone's resource collection there. Mushroomars must have got intel of everything except Clopse spawn by now. That's something of sod's law right there. But Clopse continuing with these skitters going around everywhere. Nanolathe doing the same. He's also got 2 skitters out now, getting some spinners, lots of energy, also getting some static defences up. A little bit unsure as to where the line is going to be drawn there, given that you still have this metal sites here, so maybe that's just going to be a little bit of early guarding against skitter raids. But you can never be too sure. Clopse going up with his second factory now. Likewise with Mushroomars, who now has 3 factories, 3 vehicles and an air factory. Getting out some early hummingbirds to try and defend against any possible bomber raids that Clopse might decide to throw at him. But Clopse has actually gone for 3 vehicle factories. The other 2 going up a little bit slower, though the commander is building that one. Ants are going to get produced out of those 2 probably now, with Clopse going for their ant rush. and continuous fabricators being built from this middle one right here. And there's the scouting intel that Mushroomars so desperately needed on Clopse. He has now found Clopse's base. That fabricator is lost. It's a shame that that wasn't done with a skitter. And down here we see the hummingbirds, not the hummingbirds, sorry, the bumblebees doing exactly what I thought might happen here. Lots of bombing raids on the early fabricators, hampering that expansion. Although the thing with these bombers at the moment in this stage of the alpha is if there is something on their flight path and you don't really know how to control bombers very well, is they will bomb anything in the flight path and not actually what you target. So for instance, I'm pretty sure the bomber targeted the fabricator but keeps deciding to hit the extractor instead. Excuse me, I'm getting all tongue-tied. So he's just he's pretty sure, because Mushroomars is getting quite frustrated, and we can see that in the chat now. The bomber going to come around and stop that factory as well. Clopse going to really want to get some of these factories producing and some anti-air capabilities, and he does indeed. That bumblebee is taken out. Meanwhile, however, Mushroomars has got up to 4 factories now. Clopse has now got 5, but Mushroomars does have those bumblebees, hummingbirds, and larger expansions as well. Incoming another bumblebee now, going to fork round the side, see if what they can do. And we've got the skitter occupying the North Pole there as well. Mushroomars continues to expand in the metal around this whole region in these craters right here. Bumblebee coming around again. He wants to avoid those ants because they do have that anti-air capability at the moment. So maybe he's going to come around and see this econ bay down here, and he's going to go and try and take some out. He's going to get 2 hits on that extractor there. I could really get those mixed up at the moment. I'm really sorry for that. So the bumblebee going to get hit by 2 spinners there, 3 spinners, and it goes down, but it does take out that fabricator with it. That is hampering Clopse's production now in that region. Taking out 2 factories and the fabricator producing the mechs is really going to slow Clopse down. However, Clopse now does have 2 air factories on the go at once, trying desperately to get up that anti-air. But what we see here is Mushroomars' commander walking in, seeing the expansion, and Clopse is going to want to try and avoid confrontation with an exploding commander in the middle of his base. He wants to try and drive him back. If he shows his commander now, then Mushroomars might think twice about this offensive. He's got a lot of ants and a lot of spinners now, but it's not quite enough to really turn the tides on this. So Mushroomars is now going to back off. He's seen that Clopse's commander's right there. He does not want to engage that right now. Especially Clopse doesn't want to overextend his commander either. He's moving a little bit too far out. There are ants there. He wants to bring it back and continue with his production now. Maybe even get up some static defenses. No, he's going to continue with his commander. This is going to be interesting right now. Clopse versus Mushroomars with their commander battles. Clopse is managing to outrun the projectiles of Mushroomars. He is running towards those ants, however. There are quite a few ants now, and he's got these fabricators assisting. He really wants to get back right now, maybe moving in some ants and spinners to support. Maybe he's going in for a D-gun right here. There's the Uber cannon there from Mushroomars. Clopse doesn't quite manage to pull one off. He wants to back away very fast now. There's a lot of ants right here on Clopse's commander. A few ants and spinners desperately trying to come in and rescue this situation, but I don't think it is salvageable. If Mushroomars continues to press on this commander with his own, then it is going to be curtains for Clopse. Indeed, what we do see now is Clopse's commander is going to get taken out. It is going to be a Mushroomars versus Nanolathe. And there it goes. Goodbye, Clopse. Well played to Mushroomars, who is now extending to Tier 2 on their vehicle factory. Glancing back over to Nanolathe now, looking at the expansion. They've got a few ants now. And he's also got a T2 vehicle factory going up as well, so hopefully that'll balance out the statistics there in terms of the tier levels. But as long as Mushroomars keeps up with their production and their expansion, and Nanolathe continues as they're going, Mushroomars will manage to outproduce and outproduce Nanolathe. But unfortunately, Nanolathe does really need to get some expansion going right now. He does not have enough to keep up with Mushroomars at this point. And Mushroomars is having some UI glitches going on there. and also some visual glitches. But looking back at Nanolathe, they aren't really producing a whole amount. They really want to be getting a lot more ants building at this point in time, especially considering that Commander has just exploded. You can usually infer that that implies there's a large army on the map, or at least a large production value. And unfortunately this doesn't quite seem to have dawned on Nanolathe just at this point, who has got a lot of anti-air at the moment, so any Bumblebee raids are going to be rather obsolete. But as long as Mushroomars continues his output of ants, we will see a domination victory here. But this Skit are going to see this factory going up in the behind, and those are going to completely reclaim that Skitter, denying that little bit of harassment, but it did take it off the factory production for that short amount of time. Is it going to be crucial enough? I do not quite think so. Not at this stage of the game, at any rate. We also have a tier 2 air factory going up right now. Maybe we'll see some commander sniping with some hornets going on, while Mushroomars' commander and fabricators are going to press down into Clopse's old base and grab all of the mech sites that they possibly can to really get their resources going massively right now. Looking again at Mushroomars' ants, they're sort of swarming around, and because they aren't in a clump, they were probably going to get denied here by Nanolathe. It's quite a large force of ants moving out from Nanolathe in comparison, and Mushroomars' ants are going to get completely destroyed there. Not sure whether Mushroomars was actually keeping an eye on that, but maybe at this point Mushroomars is more focusing on production in their base and expansion than on a few ants that decided to waddle along the moon's surface. But another small force coming out this side now for Nanolathe to try and deal with. He hasn't got any static defences at the moment on this side, but he has got enough ants in his base to deal with it. There comes a radar. It's going to be a little bit too late. They're going to see these ants moving in, and they're going to be like, oh dear, there's a small force of ants moving in. I'm going to move those fabricators out of the way. These ants are going to come back around and try and deal with these, which they are going to do. 4 ants against home turf is never a good matchup, but we do have a leveler now as well. Looking back at Mushroomars, they have a lot of ants, but no levelers as of yet. Their T2 vehicle factory has not finished, or rather their second one has not finished. We don't actually see any levelers, however. The first one is being produced now. We have, however, got tier 2 fabricators, so that's going to get up a lot of energy very quickly now. And some good radar as well. But Nanolathe moving in right here, right now, with some ant forces now, taking out a bit of econ. There's crucial mechs right here. Although Mushroomars does have a lot of mechs now, but any dent is a dent. It's just a case of whether it's going to be cumulative enough, and Nanolathe is going to get destroyed there by a complete surround from Mushroomars. Mushroomars is going to really focus down on this T2 energy. He must absolutely really want that T2 energy right there. It's being produced at a reasonable rate, but it looks as though their econ might have stalled a little bit, because I would be expecting that to build a little bit faster. And what we can see here is Nanolathe trying to push in with some bumblebees. They aren't going to quite manage it because there are a lot of hummingbirds now in Mushroomars' base, and Mushroomars is going to move out with their ants. And do they have a leveler in the mix there? No, they do not. But this push out here could put a severe dent in Nanolathe's forces, especially considering they are all sort of spread out at the moment and not really together. However, Nanolathe does have 2 tier 2 vehicle factories and a third one going up right now as well, so that level of production is going to be boosted there. But is it going to be enough for by the time that Mushroomars actually gets across? A little bit of lag there, but the ant blob has now taken shape. It is going to skirt up around the north by the look of it, although maybe at this point it might be wise to maybe skirt more down to the south and go straight for these factories, especially considering there are a fair few static defences going up on their northern border there from Nanolathe. But while Nanolathe is rather turtling in right now, just building a few factories and not really doing all that much expansion, Mushroomars is going to see actually this with their hummingbirds. He is going to divert that one. He's going to take out a large amount of Nanolathe's air force there through the lovely distraction of the early hummingbird, taking all of them by surprise, and then the follow-ups just coming straight up the behind of the other hummingbirds from Nanolathe and completely decimating the air force there of Nanolathe. Mushroomars just going to get that scouting intel, but it was enough And now here we do see 4 levelers and a group of ants moving in to the front of Mushroomars' base, maybe just waiting to regroup here before moving in finally. Looks as though these ants are going to see this group here. They think they are going to be able to take them out. The levelers are going to start punching straight away into those ants, and if those ants do not move in rapidly now and the levelers do not start retreating, this could be a rather evenly pitched fight, which could have been an advantage to either side depending on what could have happened there. And in fact, it is going to be an advantage to Nanolathe because of those bombers assisting and those levelers as well. But now we also have the levelers coming in from Mushroomars. The bomber's going to continue to pound away at those levelers. The ant's going to try and get the passes on those bumblebees, but not quite. The bumblebees don't get the second pass there. The leveler's going to skirt to the south of the other ones. From Mushroomars, they might be able to push in, but there aren't any more remaining in this attack force. So if they can just keep moving through, rather than stopping there, they want to keep moving, keep away from those levelers. Looks as though, however, that is not the case. That offensive is going to get completely taken out. Now, before all that happened, I did mention that Nanolathe has rather sort of turtled up and got rather dense base in here. He's beginning to expand now, but in comparison to that rather sort of smallish base from Nanolathe, we see a huge expanse from Mushroomars, claiming a very large amount of the surface here, getting a lot of factories producing and a lot of map control as well, with this huge number of mechs over here as well. Looking at that, that's, you know, at least 15 there easily, almost 20 in fact, I wouldn't be surprised. And there's even more over here, so this really is the jackpot of mechs that Mushroomars has now managed to secure with these factories as well, bordering that. Mushroomars with their commander moving down and is remaining idle in Clopse's old base, so maybe if Nanolathe can get the intel on that and can get commander sniping with some levelers, it might really end the game fast. But looking at Mushroomars' base again, I wonder whether we have the Hornets coming out. Indeed we do! Here come the Hornets. The commander sniping is in progress. So that is going to be exciting to see how that comes out. These fabricators are going to continue to build some air forces there, continuing to expand. The ants over here going to come in through the complete flank right now, because we have to remember that this is now a spherical playing field rather than a 2D plane. So you have pretty much all of your base has a flank rather than just the bit that is geographically viable. And it appears that Nanolathe might have got a little bit too focused on this gap here, this rather shorter distance, but we do have pelters going up. But even so, there is very little defense on the eastern front right now from Nanolathe. But contrary to this, we do have 3 tier 2 vehicle factories up. We're starting to get some of those tier 2 fabricators, and now we have 3 levelers being built at once. That is going to be massive production value and continued factory production here from Nanolathe, and a lot of anti-air there is really going to start hampering any commander sniping. But as long as Mushroomars is probably going to use these extra air factory production to get some anti-air himself, so that he can move that in early, take out the remaining anti-air that might be surrounding Nanolathe's base, and then bring the Hornets in when it's safe to do so. It's the best way to commander snipe. Now Mushroomars just constantly with this huge group of... In fact, I'm not going to focus on that because we have the Hornets moving in right now. Could we see the end of the commander right here, right now? It is possible. Indeed, I'm not quite sure they know where the commander is. They've just passed him, he's down there by the factories. Those Hornets are going to get taken out. They're going to lose a lot of Hornets on this one pass to try and get the commander, who is sitting down here unknown to Mushroomars. So that was 4 Hornets wasted in that pass. What a shame. What a shame. So back on over here with Mushroomars, they're going to get even more tier 2 vehicle factories being produced with all of these fabricators focusing it down. That is going to go up massively, massively fast, immensely fast in fact. Massively isn't really a viable term. Anyway, my English suffers. Meanwhile, fabricators continue to spam out factories, and that is going to get a lot of levelers producing right now. Looking at the rest of Mushroomars' base and expansion now, we do have continued Hornets being produced, and in fact a push in from Nanolathe right now as well. with a few levelers taking out that tier 2 air factory. The commander sniping has been dashed. Mushroomars is going to have to rebuild that tier 2 air factories. That has really bought Nanolathe some time now, but it looks as though Mushroomars might have converted back to doing ground assault. But this is really starting to tear through a lot of factories and a lot of econ right here. Hornet's just wondering, what are we supposed to do? I'm just going to roll over there, do a barrel roll, and then come back in for my first pass and try and take something out. I'm actually going to miss on my first pass and just get taken out. Maybe, no, he is going to take out 2 there. A leveler goes down, as does an ant. He's going to take out some more ants there as well with that single pass. If you get the Hornets moving slow enough, they can take out multiple units on a single pass. More air factories going down right now. Incoming's the Hornet for the final leveler. Down it goes. There goes that offensive. Beautifully taken care of by Mushroomars, but beautiful opportunity taking there from Nanolathe. And the commander going to run around here down to the South Pole now, just below Clopse's base. He might be moving in for the expansions here to assist in production of those. He might be running into the crater there as well. A little bit of pathfinding there. I'll just move out of dynamic camera mode for a second just so I can see if anything is happening, and indeed it is. Mushroomars is pushing in on the rear of Nanolathe, using that flank right now. It looks as though Nanolathe might have been caught off guard here. I do apologise for the dog barking in the background. He likes to do that a lot because he is a dog and he is rather squeamish. So these ants are going to push through here, push through all of this econ, taking out these factories right now. Seeing these 3 tier 2 factories, maybe wanting to focus down on them a little bit. Even more going to bring up the rear now. We've got a few ants stuck in between these factories. They look a little bit protected, but are they actually doing any damage? I don't think they are. There's a leveler retreating there, utilising that greater range there to the good advantage that it is. And is this going to be a big enough dent in Nanolathe that Mushroomars can really exploit this and push in with some more ants? In a follow-up assault, we'll have to see. Let's go back out into strategic view once more, looking at, oh, excuse me, I do apologise, Nanolathe's assault now. He might actually find the commander. Will this be a victory for Nanolathe? This is going to be a chasing game right here. Going to look at it from Nanolathe's level of perspective right now. That ant is going to go down. There goes Mushroomars in a beautiful conclusion of an explosion. Explosion of a conclusion rather. And those levelers from Nanolathe are going to win the match. So Clopse was taken down by Mushroomars initially, while Nanolathe just exploited that fact and really started to turtle up pretty decently with terms of the tier 2. Mushroomars getting out the tier 2 later, but a little bit too late maybe, as Nanolathe really had all of those levelers out and being useful by the time that Mushroomars was beginning to do that. So Mushroomars' commander was caught out in the open in that expansion, and Nanolathe managed to exploit that and completely obliterate and annihilate that commander. Beautiful play from all 3 players. So going back to the main menu, and I will say thank you very much for watching this 3-player free-for-all. I have got a lot of casts on the way. They should start coming back daily now. A little bit of a heads up though, the next sort of 4 weeks or so from the this weekend, we'll have a little bit of trouble getting the daily uploads. The possibility is I will get daily uploads going, but they will be a little bit later in the upload and possibly missing out the odd day here and there because I have got a lot of commitments coming on in these next couple of weeks, and then I'm on holiday for 2 weeks after that. But anyway, who cares about my summer plans? Thanks again for watching. Don't forget to like, drop a comment, and subscribe for a lot of Planetary Annihilation coming very soon. And I've also got a couple of special videos coming up, and there will be stuff for subscribers in there. So if you're not a subscriber, make sure you do subscribe, because you could be in for your chance to get some bonuses and some pretty sweet stuff as well. So anyway, I'm going to stop rabbiting. I'm going to let you get on with your day. Thanks as always for watching, and as ever, have a good day.